Hello there. It is Major League Soccer Week 26, and you're watching the Designated Pundits. We have some expert picks, and we're going over some odds on all the matches, bringing you the best bets we have for MLS Week 26. Bob here with Scott and Deon. We are the Designated Pundits, and we have 9 of the 14 games this weekend to talk about tonight, where we have some of the great picks that we have. We had a lot of plays this week, but we're picking the ones with the best odds. We always try to get to that plus 100 number or a little bit higher. Let's take a little recap of what we've been doing on the show for the past few weeks. Well, last week was a down week. That's a midweek. We kind of expect that. Midweek is very unpredictable. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify now with video, you can catch all our graphics that show exactly how the breakdown went. Overall, we were down 3.29 units on the midweek, going 5-9. But on the season, we were 185 and 186 on 371 wagers, plus 23.86 units. And I'd like to point out, for the uneducated gamblers in our comments, yeah, we are 1 under 500. That is fine because we're taking all these plus money plays. You can see, again, YouTube, Spotify with video. Go to my Twitter, Bob V Soccer, and you can find how well we're doing this season. Plus 23.86 units. If you trailed every bet and bet $1 on it, you'd be up $23.86. If you bet $10, you'd be up $230. And if you bet $100, you'd be up $2,300 by now. That's how this works. Again, we don't care what that number is. I don't care if I'm 20 picks under 500. I care that I'm in the plus money. That is the goal of gambling after all. And we think we have some really great picks for you this week. I have 6, Scott with 4, Deon shooting out 6, just going scattershot from the hip on this. I love to see that confidence there. And of course, our results kind of bear that confidence, reflect what we should be doing here on the season. Moving ahead to our first game, CF Montreal is hosting the Chicago Fire. Montreal, 3 wins, 6 draws, and 14 losses on the season. And the Chicago Fire, pretty good road team, 8 wins, 5 draws, and 9 losses on the season. Both teams under 500. Both teams have struggled, and that reflects in the odds. CF Montreal, plus 165 for the home team. Chicago, if you favor them, are plus 145 as visitors. We knew this day would come. Chicago Fire in the plus money, and they are the favorites on the road. If you look at the over 2.5 goals, minus 184. That's the chaos Chicago brings when they hit the road. Under 2.5 goals, plus 150. Very unlikely to happen. We actually have 2 official plays in this, Scott and Deon. Let's go to Deon first.
Yeah, so in this one, I separated myself from a winner or a loser. I do need someone to win, but I went with both teams to score, no draw. So both of these teams giving up goals, scoring goals. In the last 5 road matches for Chicago Fire, averaging 2.8, and the last and they're giving up 1.8 there on the road also, where Montreal are scoring about once. I just need them to score 1. Chicago, you can just score as many as you want. But yeah, I went with both teams to score, no draw at 105.
The one thing that scares me a little bit about the Chicago Fire is that they went full send against Atlanta. They had Kuiper, Zinkernagel, Bomb, everyone on that offense. Gutierrez playing a lot of minutes. Scares me a little bit, but I do think Fire should take Montreal, and I like your pick of both teams to score no draw. I think this game is good enough for a winner. Scott, are you going to pick that winner for us?
I'm not. I'm really not. Offhandedly, I lean towards Chicago. But mostly I agree with the sportsbook here. I think it's kind of a goal fest sort of day. I totally agree with Deon. I needed to divorce myself from picking a winner. Lots of things could happen. Chicago brings a lot of chaos, but is not totally reliable. Montreal is definitely not reliable. But just digging into this, the thing that I noticed, Chicago is like the 5th highest expected goal conceded in the league. So they are giving up chances. Those are turning into goals. Those are usually higher quality chances. So I think Montreal is going to have opportunities in this game. So I'm looking at Prince Owusu to have 2 or more shots on target. That's plus 180. I think that's an achievable thing for him to do. He doesn't do it a ton. I'll be honest, his average is only like 1.2 shots on target per game, but he's in a really good run of form, right? Sam over here, quietly on a goal scoring run of form, great form. You're absolutely right. He has 10 goals in MLS play this season, and he has goals in what? He has 5 goals in his last 4 games in all competitions. 2 of those are against Forge in the Canadian Championship, but goals are goals for a striker. He doesn't care. So he's you go a blank against New York City, and then he scored against Cincy. He scored 2 against Houston. Like, he's in good form right now. So I think he's going to do that.
I absolutely agree. And it seems like CF Montreal wants to run with like a 2-striker setup, but right now without Vrioni, they don't really have that option. So I think it is, going to be force feeding Owusu the ball. And Chicago Fire, they're good. If we're seeing a lot of goals, Owusu might have 2 goals before this game's over. He is one of the top threats on this team. 2 official plays for Montreal versus Chicago Fire. That would be Owusu 2+ shots on target at plus 180, and both teams to score no draw at plus 105. Moving to the next match, the New England Revolution host Orlando City. New England Revolution have 6 wins, 7 draws, and 9 losses. Orlando City, 9 wins, 8 draws, and 6 losses. This game is going to be at Gillette Stadium. Moving now to the odds, you have the Revolution at plus 180 and Orlando City at plus 140. Is this the second match in a row that has plus a road favorite? Yes, it is, and it's probably for a really good reason. I love Orlando in this match, and that's going to be one of my official plays. But Scott, you see this game as a both teams to score and over 2.5. I'm going to back that up in long form later, but why don't you tell us how you came to that pick?
I'm writing a little bit just recent history for these 2 teams. New England for a while was a very strong defense, couldn't score goals offense. They did a little bit of work to figure out the goal scoring part of that, but that has opened them up defensively. And if you look at their last 5 games, only one of these, doesn't have goals in it. And it happens to be against Austin FC, which is, vintage, classic, expected. The rest of these are multiple goals, actually quite a lot of goals. And that's just kind of a form that I'm anticipating carries on.
I agree. I think Orlando is in a bit of a slump, but the Revolution are just in a free fall. Orlando's better on the road with 2 wins and a draw in their last 3, outscoring opponents 7-4 during that time. And, Orlando scoring and New England Revolution conceding are the recent trends. I just watched the Revolution midweek. They went up 2-0 on Red Bull in the first half. They lost that game 5-3. 5 second half goals, and there was nothing they could do that would work. Well, I'll tell you what could do that could work. Go back to the 5-man back line that we featured a whole episode on this show about how it was working. Because if your offense and defense aren't working, but your defense could work, well, let's get that going first and then fix everything else later, because neither working is not working for the New England Revolution. Revolution conceded 15 goals in their last 6 matches, and they only scored 10 in that span. That is enough for me to give Orlando City the win. Orlando is plus 140, which gives us a 3.13% advantage on my model's implied probability versus what the sports books are offering. Taking the draw no bet at minus 124 gets a little bit of that like on the road kind of chaos. That's like the chaos tax. Brings me down to minus 124. 2 official plays for the Revolution hosting Orlando City, and that is Orlando with the draw no bet at minus 124. Both teams to score over 2.5 goals at minus 110. Deon, if you had to pick a winner, who would you take?
I would probably lean towards Orlando City, but both of these sides to me this season are just so inconsistent and hard for me on my end, hard to just pick if they're going to win a game or not. So I looked at this one. I couldn't find anything that I liked, but I think with how Orlando's performing on the road compared to Rev's performance at home currently, I would probably lean towards Orlando, but just not enough.
The next matchup we have is going to be very interesting. It is a game that I think the odds are very, very wrong on. That's the New York Red Bulls hosting Inter Miami. Red Bulls 9-6-8, Inter Miami 11-5-4. This game is going to be at Sports Illustrated Stadium. When you look at the odds, Red Bulls are plus 150, Miami is plus 155, just about a pick 'em if you want either team to win. Over 2.5 goals is minus 194. Under 2.5 goals is plus 158. When you look at the team totals, this is kind of where I'm the most interested. Minus 106 for Red Bull to score 2. Inter Miami, minus 108 for them to score 2. If we're seeing goals, it seems like one of those should be a little worse odds. Minus 120 and minus 118 if you want the unders on that 1.5 goal total for this one. And that's kind of where I'm going to attack it. One official play is me. Red Bull team total over a goal and a half at minus 106. Red Bull scored 30 home goals in 11 matches. Yet their team prop at over 1.5 is almost even money. I love that advantage, and based on my sportsbook model, this pick gives us a 10.45% advantage on the implied probability the sportsbook is offering us. Red Bull has not scored a second time in just 2 of 11 home matches against Chicago and Toronto. That's back at the beginning of the season when they were really struggling offensively. Those games are far behind. They've scored 20 goals in their last 5 at home. Miami on the road conceding 17 goals in 10, which is slightly advantageous for them keeping Red Bull out of the net that second time. However, they did concede 3 midweek versus FC Cincinnati without Kevin Dinky in the lineup. This should be an easy play. 50-50. I don't have to be pro Miami, pro Red Bull to think that this is going to work out. This could be a 2-2 draw, a 2-3 loss, or worse for Red Bull. I just think they're going to score twice. Gentlemen?
The math works for me. The 1.7 goals conceded on the road from Miami. The fact that New York, I think at home, is like 30 goals scored in 11 games. They do tend to score at home. They have a home field advantage. The math works. I couldn't really get into this game because Miami is just like in a lot of ways not predictable enough.
Well, they're playing home games every stadium they go to.
I mean, no, yeah, but like they just got rolled 3-0. You know, you don't expect Miami to get blanked. That's the one thing they're not supposed to do. So there's just something about this Miami group that is less predictable, less reliable, maybe is the better word, than they were last year. Deon, I don't know if you feel that way.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I watched I did a watch along for the FC Cincinnati Inter Miami game. And I mean, Cincinnati made Inter Miami look like a joke. I mean, anytime that Messi got the ball, his pocket was picked. Same with Jordi Alba. Like, it feels like every time that he got the ball, it was taken right back away. Cincinnati played very good defense against them. So, but yeah, like Inter Miami, not the same as what they were last season, in my opinion.
I do agree that offense is just kind of taking a little step back, maybe a little more conservative. Again, I don't care about their offense. They can go blank. This bet has nothing to do with Miami, who, by the way, will be without Ustari, who left injured like 40 minutes into the last match, and it will be without Calendar. So they're going to go to Rocco Rios Novo, so a player who's really, really like an up-and-coming goaltender, maybe not their best right now. So hopefully Red Bulls team total over 1.5 minus 106. The next match we have here is FC Dallas hosting St. Louis City. This is one of those, we're going to bet on it, but we really don't want to have to watch what's going on. Your eyes will be bleeding by the end of this one. FC Dallas, 5 wins, 7 draws, and 10 losses. St. Louis City, 4 wins, 6 draws, and 12 losses. When we look at the odds, plus 100 for FC Dallas to win, plus 150 if you like St. Louis City, plus 260 for the draw. Over under 2.5 goals, minus 186 for the over, and plus 152 for the under. Deon, me and you both have similar-ish plays. Tell me how you're approaching this match.
Yeah, so, I mean, St. Louis are coming off of a victory in their last match, 2-1 over Portland Timbers, and I believe that was last weekend. So they had a break here in the midweek, traveling to Dallas. We know Dallas not great at home. Only one win. Yes, St. Louis only have one win on the road. But I went with St. Louis with a double chance. So I just need St. Louis to either win or draw. But I also did an under 3.5 for plus 144. I liked those odds. I know that that's kind of a weird combination, but I like the odds on it. So I'm running with it. I expect this to be either a 1-1 draw or potentially a 2-1 victory for St. Louis.
I like 3 of the 4 last things you said there. I'm taking the under on 2.5 goals. FC Dallas has conceded this season. That is usually not the way they play, especially at home. Over the last 10 seasons, it feels like it's always like, oh man, this defense is so good. We're keeping unders. That's not the trend, but I'm actually betting against the trend here. St. Louis City has 9 goals in 11 away matches and has been kept scoreless in 6 out of those 11 matches. I kind of favor the Dallas side, but I'm not betting on Dallas. I absolutely can't do that in this matchup. But I'm betting under 2.5 goals. Even if Dallas does find the back of the net, I find one of these teams not being a willful participant in a shootout. That's what we've seen with Dallas. I just don't see it in this match. I think that this might be a cagey, kind of slow, boring one. 2 official plays, they could both hit. Myself picking under 2.5 on FC Dallas, and Deon taking St. Louis City double chance and under 3.5 goals. It says 4.5. That is a graphic typo here. Before we move on, there were some comments I do want to pull up. Connor saying, no counter Ustari for Miami. Might have to take a cheeky bet on New York. I don't know if we call it cheeky. It's a negative money bet on a probability that usually happens, but go off, King, man. You live you. Angus saying St. Louis cannot get their new defenders soon enough. That is absolutely correct. Been decimated, especially on the wings. They need to like wallow him back up and running because what they're doing without him is not playing good soccer. Moving on, the Houston Dynamo are hosting the Philadelphia Union. Houston, 7 wins. Philadelphia Union, 14 wins. This one is at Shell Energy Stadium. Looking at the odds, Houston Dynamo, plus 130, 240 for the draw, plus 190 for the away team. Over 2.5 goals, minus 120. Under 2.5 goals, minus 102. And you have some team totals there if you are watching along at home. 2 official plays, me and Deon, and they are the same official plays. Deon, how did you arrive to the Philly draw no bet plus 116 wager?
Pretty much everything points towards Philadelphia to win this one. I have a 60 in my stuff. I have a 63% win probability for the Union in this one. Houston, not great. Their last match at home was against Vancouver. Vancouver's a good side. They lost 3-0, but barely beat St. Louis 1-0, and then lost 2 matches back-to-back at home, 3-1, 3-1. They're just not looking great. Philadelphia Union's a really good side, and I don't see anything for me to think Houston could win this one.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. The Philadelphia Union have a 2-game road losing streak, but haven't been on the road since July 6th. Even then, those losses are against Nashville and the Crew, some of the cream of the East. Philadelphia, when I plug this in, the home away splits were so favorable for Philadelphia. I got a 9.52% advantage on the sportsbook. They're giving plus 190 now in the Philadelphia Union. That number is a crime, and I think we need to punish the sportsbooks this week. Drawing no bet at plus 116 for one of the better teams in the East. Sure, I will take that all day, each and every day. This week against the Dynamo, who are one of the worst home teams in Major League Soccer, Houston's being outscored 22-14 at home and have 4 wins, 1 draw, and 7 losses. Again, I'm going to predict the road team, but I want to protect against the road draw, something that happens all the time. We've seen it. I know Alex was mad about the Chicago Fire kind of losing the very last play of the game last week. We're going to protect against that by taking the draw no bet at minus 116. I still think this is a great play. I will be sprinkling on the plus 190, which probably won't be plus 190 come game time. One comment in the comment section here. Is Tebow back for Philly? I saw he was in Israel and everything happened, then he came back injured. Yeah. We will know right now because I believe the injury reports had to be in. He is not designated on the injury report, so it looks like Baribo should be a full go, which makes us feel a lot better. On the Houston side, you have Quinones, Shevchenko, and Tarbell out with Reigns suspended from this one. So, form health, all kind of favors Philadelphia Union in this one. That's why I have 2 official plays. The Philly draw no bet at plus 116. Moving on now to the Sporting KC versus NYCFC matchup. Sporting KC 6 wins, 5 draws, and 11 losses, while NYCFC has 10 wins, 4 draws, and 8 losses on the season. And that is reflected in what we see here from the sportsbook. Sporting KC plus 165. The draw is at plus 250, and NYCFC is plus 150. Over 2.5 goals, the likelier of the two by quite a bit, says the sportsbook. Minus 174 for the over, while the under sits at plus 142. Me and Scott have official plays. They are complimentary. Scott, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I was looking into this. Feels like there's opportunity to be had here. NYCFC is not that good a road team, let's be honest, and SKC has had signs of life. But I didn't want to pick a winner. I needed to divorce a little bit from that, protect myself. Looking into the stats, Deon is on a bit of a tear. He's got 8 goals in his last 10 games. And that's good. He's a good striker. Looked at SKC's total goals scored for those games. He has scored 45% of all SKC goals over that period. So, they're relying on him. They're playing to him. And so if they score 2 goals, odds are that one of those will be his. So I've got Deon as an anytime goal scorer at plus 135.
Loving that play here because we think the over is going to hit. Overs also favor the home team, scoring that second goal more often. Let's go like from the bottom of the cap to the top of the cap. Bottom of the cap, NYCFC, they'll be without 3 of their 5 best players, Jones, Keaton Parks, and Wolf. Wolf left Wednesday, I believe, injured in that match. SKC, they'll be without Eric Tommy, just like 99 of their last 100 matches that they've played. Not loving that here. Sporting KC, they have an advantage too. It's called not playing midweek. They will be the fresher side by a lot. Meanwhile, New York traveled from New York to Orlando, then New York to Sporting Kansas City. A lot of travel there. That's going to push them, in the negative direction there. I just really like where SKC is right now. They're one of only 2 teams, again, not to travel. And at home right now, the draw no bet is plus 116. Okay. NYCFC, they've been a little better on the road. 2 wins, 4 draws, and 5 losses. We're protecting against the draw. Is NYCFC going to come and win? What would that be, their second road win in a row? Maybe third? Most likely not. In a bubble, NYCFC the better team, but not with those injuries, not on travel. I got to like Sporting KC. And the fact you get a home team on a draw no bet at plus 116, lock that in for me. Joveljic, he's going to be the one who scores the winning goal and we'll be out of here with 1.51 units on just 2 plays in this one. Deon, who would you take here, Sporting KC or NYCFC?
Hey, if I can make a bet right now, I would go with your Sporting Kansas City draw no bet. In my prediction video, I actually went with Sporting Kansas City to win this one because of the travel. And I can't believe I overlooked this game whenever I was putting in my picks for tonight, because I would definitely go with the Sporting Kansas City. They're looking good. Joveljic is looking good. I think, and with the rest, I think that's the biggest key here with the rest and the travel from NYCFC. That's going to play a role.
I agree. 2 official plays. Sporting KC, draw no bet plus 116. Joveljic anytime plus 135. Moving on, the Seattle Sounders. They're going to host the San Jose Earthquakes. Seattle Sounders, a home team favorite. Look at that, minus 150. San Jose Earthquakes, they're plus 330. The over 2.5 goals, minus 245. That's one of the lowest totals I've ever seen. Lowest odds overs I've ever seen. I should definitely get that straightened out. Under 2.5 goals, plus 194. We're definitely seeing goals. That usually favors the home team. 2 official plays. Neither one of them are mine. This is the rare one where you 2 guys got to fight it out amongst yourselves. Let's start over to Deon first.
Yeah, so I went with a weird one here, and it was actually, I don't know, to be honest, at negative 155. I went with Seattle double chance and both teams to score. Like I said, it was a negative 155. I like what Seattle's doing. I have said the last couple match days that we're going to see a Seattle team that plays well because now they can just focus on the MLS season. And so I think that them at Lumen Field, it's going to be hard for teams to win there. I do like San Jose. I like what the Earthquakes are doing. They can score a lot of goals, but they haven't been doing that recently. So I do think that they score in this one, but I think that Seattle's going to come out on top.
I agree. I agree with that. Seattle has found better form as of late. I still have concerns about something about the offensive unit is still not quite totally right for me. Maybe it's availability. It's hard to put my finger on exactly, but they found something approximating better form. They have 9 goals scored in their last 4 games. The other thing they're doing, though, is they're not really keeping a lot of clean sheets. And then Nuhu will be suspended for this game. So, right, that's just a little dink there, a little chink in the armor. Quakes don't need much more than that to find a goal. They're still a very capable offense, even if they have slowed down a little bit. So I see lots of goals. I do lean a little bit towards Seattle, especially at home, but I didn't want to make a pick, so I just took a straight over. It's over 3.5. The last 2 Seattle games have gone for 6, so sure, give me that.
There are 7 total defensive players that will not be available, and I think 5 or 6 of them are starting players for the Seattle Sounders. You have Nuhu Tolo on that second game suspension for the, throwing the ball at a fan. Not great. Jackson Reagan, he's on yellow card suspension. He won't be playing for this team. Stefan Fry still out with that injury, and Hawkins is going to be missing this one with João Paulo with that injury. I believe that's going to be a long-term one. For the San Jose side, Victor Costa, DeJuan Jones, and Daniel Mooney all out in this one. I agree. I think we are seeing some goals here. We got some official plays. Seattle over 3.5 plus 105. That's combined Seattle and San Jose. Deon has Seattle double chance in both teams to score at minus 155. San Jose is the team that would not capitalize on all those players being out for Seattle. That just would fall their way. So, hey, we got 2 official plays in this match. Headed now, Real Salt Lake. They host FC Cincinnati. RSL, 8 wins, 4 draws, and 10 losses, while FC Cincinnati is 14-3-6. This one is being played in RSL. RSL, plus 115 home favorites, while FC Cincinnati is plus 210 on the road. Over under 2.5 goals. The over is minus 142, and the under is over plus 1.8. The under is plus 118. We have one official play here. It is on Deon, and I just have to say, Scott, RSL, yeah, at home they have an advantage. Cincinnati's traveling midweek and playing at altitude. RSL has it a little easier, but they're missing some guys too. This was one that the numbers just didn't work out for me to place a bet, but I really wanted to have some action.
This is a tough one for sure. And I'll be honest. I previewed this game with Cincinnati Soccer Talk last night, and I made a pro Cincinnati prediction, not to be nice to their fan base or because I was on their show, but because I think this is not a great matchup for Salt Lake. Cincinnati can exploit space on the wings through Orellana. They can find, Evander through the middle. And even though Kevin Denke is not available for this game, Kai Kamara is a wily veteran and very capable of scoring goals. The other thing is RSL's offense, even at home, has still not been prolific. Goal a game is about the best that they're usually going to do. So I'm actually surprised the under is as good as it is in this, because RSL's recently been a bit stingy defensively, the St. Louis game aside, but they're not usually scoring a ton of goals. So I don't know. If FC Cincinnati scores 2, I think that's probably enough.
one of my tools that I use, and I use like a combination of like 30 different websites for like different things, but Who Scored has a really nice like matchup thing where like it shows you their strengths and the weaknesses of the teams and like how they would pair up against each other. For RSL's strengths, it says in parentheses, italics, team has no significant strengths. Deon, is that what you're seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that Real Salt Lake are currently on a 5-match unbeaten streak. I do love that. And Scott, you're probably way up here with it. And I like that. But Cincinnati, I went with Cincinnati on a double chance. Yes, the odds aren't the greatest. I watched the Cincinnati game against Miami, and I just thought Cincinnati played very, very well. And Kamara, you brought up Kamara, Scott. He played very well. And I don't know too much about Real Salt Lake, but Kamara put a good bit of pressure on the goalkeeper and on that back line. And I thought he did a good job. And if he's playing in this one, I think that's going to happen again. But the only thing that made me not just go with Cincinnati straight up is because they beat Inter Miami 3-0. Like, they kind of went full send on it. And like, how tired are they going to altitude and everything like that? So that's why I covered myself with the double chance. But I do think Cincinnati is definitely the better side in this one.
Backing you up in the chat is Yoshi saying Cincinnati is living high log after the Miami game. Real Salt Lake on the double chance. Yeah, but you're going to get that at like minus 160 or something. And we don't bet on RSL at numbers that low. Yeah, I like that. I like Evander to score in this one. I like a set piece goal for FC Cincinnati. That just kind of seems like the most likely case. RSL is not great at defending back there.
Set piece goal is the one. RSL's set piece defending is very suspect. St. Louis scored 2, I think, off of set pieces just a few weeks ago. So that's the one to look out for. That's actually, I would be looking at Kai Kamara to score for sure.
One official play in this one, Cincy double chance at minus 155. Moving on to the San Diego versus Vancouver Whitecaps match. This is our last one of the match day. San Diego 13-3-7, while Vancouver is 12-5-5. This one's going down at Snapdragon Stadium. When you go to look at the odds here, San Diego FC minus 115, while the Vancouver Whitecaps are plus 280. Over 2.5 goals, minus 174, under 2.5 goals, plus 142. Huge numbers, huge goal totals. San Diego, the heavy favorite here. That is my official play, San Diego to win. However, Deon sees it a little differently. You're taking Vancouver in the double chance, plus over 2.5 total goals at plus 192. Huge bet there, almost 2 units in the plus on Vancouver to win or draw and goals to be scored. I like at least one part of that. Tell me how you came to that pick.
Yeah, San Diego are not performing very well right now. Not their usual. I mean, the last 2 home matches, they have lost. They lost to Toronto in their last home match, and then they allowed Houston to come back. They're just struggling there at Snapdragon Stadium. Yeah, 4-3. I mean, they let them come back. And even in their match, they did beat Chicago Fire, but I feel like everybody beat Chicago Fire on the road there at Soldier Field. So I know we can also talk about Vancouver on the other hand, where they got beat 3-0 against the Rapids beat them 3-0 and the Galaxy beat them 3-0, but they were just getting their guys back, like from international duty, some injuries, and then they come out, go on the road against Houston, and they win 3-0. Yes, Houston is not that strong of a team, but I think that's going to be the turning point where we're going to see the Vancouver before the Gold Cup. Like, we're going to start seeing that Vancouver side again. So that's why I went with Vancouver. And then the double chance to save me if it does end up in a tie, as long as we see that over 2.5 goals.
Nice play there. My official play here is going to be actually on San Diego to win. 9-1-3 in their last 14 matches, and they sat Irving Lozano this past weekend, meaning he's going to be a little more fresh for this match. Vancouver, they won a midweek match against the Dynamo after winning only 1 and losing the other 4 of their last 5. Vancouver didn't recover well from the Canadian national break and cooled significantly during that time. Traveling from the Houston Heat adds Vancouver fatigue, and they'll be without Gold, Ahmed Adekube, and it looks like Tristan Blackman, although I would need to recheck the injury report. He's actually listed as questionable now. I need to correct that. But this is the first game they're going to be playing without their spark plug, Pedro Vite, who they traded away, who would have been fantastic when they needed a little lift. And I think that is a morale loss, as well as just a real contributor for the team. I think San Diego is going to be fresher. They're at home. That, of course, is quite a big advantage for them. I like what's going on with San Diego right now. This, either way, is going to be like a game to watch. Like I needed to have a play in this matchup here. San Diego FC -115 is my play. Deon, Vancouver Whitecaps, double chance in over 2.5 at +192. Scott, we need someone to break the tie.
Ooh, it's a tough ask. I'm not ready to say Vancouver is back. I think the Pedro Vite thing really does affect them. We have to stop saying, oh, Gald's not available. Gald has not been available. This team has done everything this season without him. Like, we need to just accept that they are at least capable of that without him. But I'm not ready to say they're 100% back. One of the goals they scored against Houston was definitely vintage. It was very patient. Berhalter's the goal scorer, but it's Houston, man. San Diego's better than that. I do think San Diego, I would give them the slight edge here, but this is one I couldn't pick on. The thing I really do like, though, is the over 2.5 that Deon is paired with. I think that happens. I think both of these teams are capable of making that happen and will make that happen.
And the one place that we always say Vancouver has the advantage is in midfield when they have Kubas and Berhalter. But on the SDFC side, you got Luca Della Torre playing really good. Valakari, Tverskov, who's been one of the surprises in midfield this season. This is going to be a great match, and I'm excited even just talking about it. Two official plays, San Diego FC -115 and Vancouver double chance over 2.5 +192. Take a look now. Here are all of our official plays for the week. Myself and Deon with 6, Scott with 4, Alex, no official plays, taking the night off. Gentlemen, it has been a great week of MLS action already with the Wednesday matches. I think hopefully we get a little more predictable on Saturday. Of course, we had a rare down week this season, but we're killing it over 23 units on the season, and we look to keep that. I'm trying to keep pace with the match day. Like, if we be like up 27 units by the end of Saturday, I would feel spot on. Again, let's not get beat up over our losses. This is a long road, and we're giving you picks throughout the season, and the proof is in the pudding here. Having a great season. Thank you guys for playing along, for hitting us up in the chat, and enjoy your weekend. Have a great one.